Okay, so after our discussion in class about technology in the classroom, it got me thinking about how I would use technology or how I use it now in my classroom. So I thought I would just go ahead and show you guys all the different resources and how exactly I would use them. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is this Excel sheet. Okay, so I created this for the Math 104 class that I TA for. And it is a group generator. So what I've done is in the first column, column A, I have typed all the students' names. And then in the second column, column B, I've assigned a random number between 1 and 50. And then if I hit enter, those numbers will change. And then from there, if I go up to the top and hit ascending or descending, it'll sort the students into different groups. So you can just keep doing this to get different groups to use in class. This is very useful, I think, because group work is obviously a very good tool, and this way I don't have to sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil and write out all the students and put them into different groups. I have an Excel sheet that could do it for me. This is, I imagine, very similar to how Dr. Seglam's iPad group generator randomizer works. Um, However, I know not every school has iPads, but I believe most schools should have Excel because teachers use Excel in order to keep their grade books. So this is just an easy, simple way you can use technology in your classroom. Another way I can use Excel in my classroom, this is more content specific. Say I have this function, x squared plus 3x plus 6, and then you can assign the x values negative 10 through 10, and then I can have Excel calculate what the function value is when x is negative 10, negative 9, and so on. As you can see here, I just have it calculated by putting in the value from cell A4. A lot of people might not see the importance of this, but if the students were to have to do this all by hand, it would take a lot of time, and that would be a lot of time wasted, a lot of time that could be spent doing something else. Um, and maybe someone would argue that the students won't get much out of it because they're not actually performing the calculations by hand. But I don't think students, squaring 10 and then adding 30 to it and then adding 6 to it is going to, or adding negative 30 and then 6 to it would really do a lot for them. So I think by having Excel in your classroom, it can save a lot of time so you guys can do more important things. Okay, moving on from Excel, I want to talk about GSP, another more content-specific item. So say I want my students to know how to create a perpendicular bisector. So we can do this on GSP, like this. And then, as you can see, very easy to use. And then it took about 15 seconds to create this perpendicular bisector, whereas if students had to do it with a compass and a straight edge, it would probably take several minutes. So again, we're saving time in the classroom. Also, students can just play around with this. If I want them to prove um, something else in geometry, they can use this maybe to get ideas, just mess around. And then they don't have to completely redo their drawing. If they mess something up, they can just delete it or add new lines. So, Geometer Sketchpad, very useful. Now I want to talk about Spicy Nodes, which is a website that I had not heard of until this class. Um, this is the text set that I created for CNI 214, talking about the Pythagorean theorem. I think it's a great, organized, fun way to display information, and I think students could really benefit from this. Maybe if you put your lesson in one of these, and then if a student's absent, they can go through the lesson and familiarize themselves with the information, or just if a student, is forgetful, or maybe they can't take notes very fast, they could go through and look at this on their own time so they can get up to speed. So then Also, poll everywhere. Okay, so we use this in 214, and I also used it in the Math 104 class that I TA'd for. So I asked the students this question: what is the length of the rectangle? And that was after I'd given them a problem on the board. So we'd drawn it out, and then I asked them to work through the steps. So I think this is good because it gets students involved. If they weren't listening before, they were listening then because I told them that they could take their phones out and use them in class, which I think they thought was cool. Um, Also, something that I hadn't really thought about until I actually used this in my classroom was that a lot of times the teacher, you'll work through a problem and say, okay, you guys done with this? Let's go through it, when, not a lot of students are actually done with it. So by using this, I can actually see how many students have finished, and then I can wait until I have, like 20 or so, like if I have a classroom of 30, wait till I have 20 responses before I talk about it. So there's that. And then the last thing I want to talk about is Screencast-O-Matic, which is what I'm using right now to create this video. Say I want my students to know how to be able to create a perpendicular bisector. I could create this video showing them how to do it, and then they could watch this video on their own time again and again until they know exactly how to complete this task. Furthermore, if students are absent, again, this is a great way to get the information to them, make sure they know everything. So overall, I was shocked to hear that many of my classmates did not find technology in the classroom as vital as I do. For those of you who did not, I hope that after watching this video, maybe you can see how useful it can really be. Yep, pretty cool.